Hey guys, welcome to this recap of Jewish Matchmaking, episode 2. This could be the one. So, we open up the episode with Adi arriving to the date to meet our picky Ori, okay? She is walking and she is just gorgeous. They both are in all smiles and she speaks to him in Hebrew, and that's a great start for him because, Ori really wants someone who's Israeli and who speaks Hebrew. So she's Israeli. She recently moved to LA, and Ori, we learned that he's been living in LA for over 20 years and that he lives with his family at home. And he asked her if she likes it here in LA, and she says it was her dream that came true. That was all she ever wanted, was to come here to LA. So he asked her if she would have a family here and start life here in LA. And for Adi, she loves Israel, but she also loves it here too. So she sees a future here in LA or in the US in general. So Ori is liking her a lot so far. In the confessional, he's calling her sexy. She's easygoing. She makes him feel comfortable. So I felt like this was a home run by Eliza. So a little bit of background on Adi is that she's an actress and he's an actor. But he mentions as well that he works with his mom, and Adi is shocked. She's wondering, what does that dynamic look like? And he says, well, it's pretty good. He's been doing this for 8 years. So he also says that he lives with his parents. And Adi's face is so expressive. She is so shocked. You can tell they have a little bit of difference between both of them. He's like very with his family, and she's like going through this opportunity where she left her family in Israel to be here on her own in LA to make things happen for her. So he explains that he's trying to move out, but he's also getting his things more together before he leaves. So he's still in that stage where he's figuring things out, but he doesn't seem like he wants to leave home. I feel like it's so comfortable with his family. I think they all like their tradition where they have family dinner. And of course the mom is always like, oh, well, there's space here in this house that the person he's choose to be with, they could obviously move into her home. So I don't know if that would be for Adi. I think Adi is more of the type, or she seems like she wants more of an independence. So I don't know how well of a match this will be. But moving on, he asked her what's her relationship like with her parents to kind of see what's her dynamic, which is a smart question to ask. And she explains that when she first moved to the US, her parents were very judgmental, especially about her career choice. Like, she wants to be an actress, and they kind of want her to be more of a traditional career path. So the two are similar in the sense that what's important for them is to be with someone who is Israeli. They understand each other, they have the same culture, and it's pretty much one mind. So that's very important for both of them, and that seems to be where they match. And I thought that this could be a good possibility if they work things out, especially if they can figure out in the future how the living situation is gonna be like. So I think it's a great date that leads to a second date on Ori's request, because he's figuring out what is she like, what she do for her hobbies, and her interest is actually horseback riding, and Ori wants to make that happen. So they agree to go on a second date. Adi, she feels like she needs to know him more. She was a bit hesitant to want to go on the second date with him, but she does agree to go. It's just that she's like very cautious on her decision to go with him. So Ori mentions she would be better in the confessionals if she was blonde with all those other additional add-ons. And I'm like, oh my God, Ori, she is gorgeous. Like, stop. So next we get to see our girl Danny, and she is having girl chat with her friends about the date. She says that the first date was a little bit awkward. I'm not gonna lie, it was a little awkward, but it wasn't so bad, okay? And she was wanting a little bit more chemistry, but she is optimistic though. She is attracted to him and she wants to get to know him more. Now, her friends let us know in the confessionals that Danny typically dates the bad boys who are not looking to commit. So they are hoping she finds someone who's serious, who is more in line to what she wants. So one thing that is iffy for Danny, which is fair, I believe, is that David is more religious than her. So she's trying to understand the dynamic that they would have in the relationship, especially if they move towards marriage. Her friends are giving her great advice, as it is great that they both continue to be upfront and clear about their expectations to protect one another from being hurt. So guys, no more red flags. We're not avoiding the red flags. And Danny, she knows for sure that she is going to be the one to make the first move, okay? She's our boss. So now we get to check in on Harmony. She is FaceTiming Eliza. And it's a prep talk before she goes on her blind date. And Eliza, she tells her no touching, no past talk, no talking about kids, and most importantly, no physical touching, no touching, no touching, no touching. And you can already tell that this is gonna be hard for Harmony. Harmony, she's our social butterfly unicorn queen, okay? So Harmony, she meets her date for the first time, and of course she goes up and gives him a hug. And I'm like, already, ma'am, already we're breaking rules. So his name is Aaron. He lives in Vermont and he came all the way to California to meet Harmony, which I think is such a great gesture. And of course Harmony, she sees that too as well. That's a great effort compared to most of the guys that she dates. So he is a professor and he's a professor and he's a dean at one of the colleges that he works at. So in the confessional, Harmony says that this is not a guy she would swipe right on, but she's trying, okay? She's putting in effort. She's getting out her comfort zone. So the conversation's a bit oof. They get into what they're looking for, but it's really a conversation that you would have with a friend. Everything that Eliza said not to talk about, they are talking about. They're talking about their past. They're talking about kids. Oh my gosh. So Aaron, he has been married before. And he wished he had children, but his wife didn't want one. And then Harmony, she says that she feels that she wished she at least had one because she always feels that she's meant to have at least one child in her life. So regardless what would have happened if that relationship didn't work out, she would be happy to at least have a child out of that marriage or out of a relationship. So Aaron feels like this is a great start. But guys, these two are just talking like friends. They do agree to go on a second date, but I don't know. I'm not convinced. Okay. So now we get to see Eliza in her normal life, y'all. So she is cutting her man's hair. And she tells us how they met. So she really loves that man. Both are from Philadelphia. And after meeting, 3 weeks later, they got engaged. And then in 4 months, they got married. So they both came back to their religion. And then they have spent 2 decades together. She is in love. She loves that man still. I like the way how they are talking to each other. Like he's saying, I don't want my hair cut this way. And she's like, no, you have to cut it this way because that's how I like to see you. And it's only right that I see you nicely, right? So I thought that was a nice little clip that we got to see of Eliza's normal life. So we are now in Jerusalem and we're meeting a new single and her name is Cindy. Okay, Cindy tells us about the struggle on the dating apps. And I'm like, girl, of course, it's always going to be a struggle. Her experience is that if there's 100 matches, maybe 2 will be something you are looking for, but ultimately you end up with 0. So for her, marrying Jewish is important because her great-grandmother fled Libya with gold in her bra to keep her Judaism. Her grandfather survived the Holocaust to keep his Judaism. So she wants to be a part of that miracle and continue that tradition. So Aliza comes to visit Cindy to help. So Cindy, she wants someone with a strong relationship with Judaism and Israel, okay? She wants her partner to keep kosher, observe Shabbat, who's flexi dogs. And, Aliza, she asked Cindy if she has recently dated or have seen someone. And that's a great question because we learned that, Cindy, she was in a relationship for 3 years and that the guy and her decided to separate because marriage was not in their future. So she still, thinks that the guy is a great guy and this all happened 8 months ago. But Aliza, she doesn't buy it. And girl, I don't buy it either. She says there is a mystery in her history, which means that it will be hard to match Cindy to a new partner if the door is not closed all the way with her past. So Cindy says that this is serious, and she gets pressure from her family to move forward in marriage. So Cindy says she wants to find her man and she needs our good girl Aliza's help. So back to her list. She wants someone who is successful, who's not a diva. She says she wants age 28 to 37, Tikkun Olam, which means fixing the world. I like that part because she describes how she does volunteership and she wants someone who has that same mindset. She also wants tall, dark, and handsome with no abs. So Aliza, she already has someone in mind and she's ready to show that to Cindy. So she shows Cindy Daniel, who is 34. He speaks Hebrew and English. So Cindy says that she wants to see him face to face, but she couldn't get over his age and she was calling him old. So she doesn't want anyone old, y'all. So she says that let's adjust the age frame to 28 to 31. And that's a bit better for her, a little bit more comfortable. So I thought that was so interesting to see, for Cindy to say that she wants 28 to 37 to now switch it to 28 to 31. That's a big jump because you're supposedly saying what you want. Like, say what you really, really want. Not what you want everyone to hear. So I'm glad that Cindy could be honest with herself. And, to make this matching process much more easier for her, she has to really know what she wants. So now we get to see Ori on his second date with Adi. And surprisingly, Aliza said that Ori did not find Adi as his physical look. He is typically attracted to. And I'm like, well, I say, wow, he's back to being picky. But at least he is here for a second date, okay? So they are horseback riding. And Ori puts up a good front. Like, he is showing that he's having a good time on his date. Like, he's doing good. He is flirting a little bit. He's engaging in the date, okay? So they talk. And Ori, he wants 3 kids and 3 dogs in 3 years. And that's a bit early for Adi. She's like, whoa. That's too soon, too early for her, okay? So he says that he is a complicated guy and that she is simple. So he puts his whole foot in his mouth because Adi does not accept that and gives Ori a hard time, as she should, okay? She may want to see him again, but she's unsure, and I don't think Ori will give this a third date. I think this is a no. I don't think this is a match. But, Aliza did advise him that you date him till you hate him, so we'll see. So now back to Harmony, and she's on the second date with Aaron, and they are on a beach. And, Harmony, she is torn because she typically dates the young guys, and Aaron is not so much attractive for her. So here we are again, listening to 2 friends talk. And guys, it's just 2 guys talking. It's just 2 friends talking. One being a goody 2-shoes, who is Aaron, and Harmony, who is the rebel. They are complete opposites, but hey, that doesn't mean that they couldn't be a match. It's just that I don't see this as being a match that would be successful to go down to the huppah, okay? I don't think there's huppah in the future between these 2. So in this second date, The both are grateful for this experience. And as he was talking, he did get a little attractive for Harmony. So we'll see. But I'm not holding my breath, guys. Are you? Let me know in the comments down below. So now over to Danny. She is jet skiing with Bay. David, potential Bay, okay? So David gets on the jet ski and he's wearing socks and sandals, and Danny is just ripping him apart in the confessionals. I just love Danny's humor. So David thinks Danny is cute, and Danny is happy to learn that David is Cuban. She is surprised because she did, she did say that she liked Latin men to Eliza, but Eliza never let her know that David was Cuban. So that was a pleasant surprise for her. So David definitely likes Danny's charisma. And of course, she's like very outgoing, high energy. Even though she's not as religious as him, there is a lot that draws him into her. And I think they go together so well. So they get into a whole discussion about Sephardic and Ashkenazi culture. And they wonder, like, if they get married, does Danny get to eat rice? And she pretty much gets to hear David, how he feels in Danny in that light for marriage. And David says to her that, if we get married, that you're going to have to eat rice. And Danny is pretty much down for that. She doesn't oppose. And obviously because they like each other. And I'm just like waiting for them to kiss, y'all. And it's like watching The Little Mermaid in that scene where they're on the boat and it's that song, When He's Gonna Kiss the Girl. And I'm just waiting and waiting and waiting. But it ends scene. So stay tuned for the recap of episode 3 to see how these two move forward and progress. But this is the only couple that I'm so excited for, because I do feel like those two are a match. I would be mind blown. But we'll see. We'll see. So guys, if you like this recap, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. More recaps coming up soon. And as always, share as much kindness as possible. Bye guys.